What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubae here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today we're going to be talking about something that definitely caused some people to not have a great day. It appears that a cargo ship carrying Porches, Bentleys, and Lamborghinis has sank. And, you know, everyone on the crew is okay. Nobody was injured. But that being said, I just figured we should talk about it, because there's something a little bit, insane about 1,000 Porsches on the bottom of the ocean, dude. King Triton himself is going to be whipping in a Bentley now. Alright, so like I said, before we get into it, I want to make it clear, no one on the crew was injured in any of this. That being said, you know, 1,000 Porsches, 200 Bentleys, and some Lamborghinis have ended up on the ocean floor. I hear the killer whales themselves are now driving around everywhere in a Porsche. That being said, dude, I just thought this was a crazy story, because it's not every day you hear about something like this. After burning for days, a ship carrying thousands of luxury cars sinks. The ship, the Felicity Ace, was carrying about 4,000 vehicles, including Bentleys and Porsches, when it caught fire on February 16th, and on Tuesday morning it sank. Hey, I do have to give credit to the boat. That's an impressive time to be hanging on, right? Like, if it lit on fire on the 16th, that means this thing was just kind of floating out in the ocean for 2 weeks on fire, you know? Obviously, in an ideal world, it would have never lit on fire, but my goodness, I didn't realize that boats could just be on fire that long while still floating. I guess if you're surrounded by fire, or water, sorry, I guess it's harder for the fire to spread. I don't know anything about boat fires, okay? Don't consider me some type of expert. I just feel like, you know, there's a lot of problems with the boat fire. Pretty isolated, not much you can do about it. On top of it, if it was Porsches and, like, they're electric, if those caught on fire, I'm pretty sure the batteries in those burning is very not good, you know? Once again, I'm not a scientist, but I think lithium ion being on fire probably does not do a whole lot of good for the structure of a ship and keeping it seaworthy. 2 weeks after catching fire, a mammoth ship that was transporting thousands of luxury cars sank on Tuesday morning about 253 miles off the Azores, according to the company that managed the vessel. The ship, the Felicity Ace, went down at about 9 a.m. local time after tilting starboard and plunging 4,000 cars, including more than 1,000 Porsches and 200 Bentleys, into the sea, according to the company MLL Ship Management. I don't know how they transport cars, but if 4,000 cars have, like, oil and stuff in them, that's gotta be some type of very bad environmental situation going on if those things all got dumped overboard, you know? I don't know if they transport cars empty without the fluids in them, but I've gotta feel like that can't be too good for all the sea life vibing, on top of 4,000 cars just crashing down, you know? Somewhere on the bottom, a crab just made a beautiful sandcastle, only for, like, a Volkswagen to come plummeting down and crush it right after we built it. Obviously, crabs don't build sandcastles, guys. They're more of a chateau type of vibe. Seriously, if they are traveling empty, though, is this just gonna become the world's, like, most expensive artificial reef, you know? Usually, they'll just take boats that are about to be decommissioned out there and sink them, so that way, sea life can live in them. But now, for the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, they're just gonna drop a couple $1 million worth of cars down there, so that way we can call it Bougie Reef. Seriously, I hope there's no insane environmental disaster from this, and I'm glad the crew's okay. To me, it's just nuts that, like, you know, humans are just such a weird thing as a species that yesterday there were no cars in this part of the ocean, and now, just because of the way we transport stuff, fish have 4,000 new cars to pick from. Do you think fish are gonna start making used car commercials, you know? Come on down to Tuna Sam's car lot. We have Volkswagens, we've got Porsche, we've got Bentley, we've got it all. Environmental groups have been deeply concerned that the ship would sink and about the pollution it would cause in the unique ecosystem of the Azores, the Portuguese Archipelago in the North Atlantic, where the seabed is covered with coral reefs, coral forests, and sponges. The area is home to sperm whales, blue whales, humpback whales, dolphin sharks, among other species, according to Oceana, an environmental group. Dang it, dude, I was really hoping that, like, I mean, obviously, there's life everywhere in the ocean, but I was really gonna hope that this wasn't in an insanely sensitive place. Of course they managed to drop 4,000 cars on a coral reef. I know it's not the crew's fault, by the way. There's not much you can do about a ship fire. It's just, like, out of anywhere this could possibly happen after being towed for 2 weeks, it lists and drops 4,000 cars that are gonna cause environmental problems on top of, like, a sensitive coral reef. That's home to all these whales, too, by the way. I was making jokes about killer whales trying to, you know, drive the cars earlier, but apparently that might be going down on the bottom of the ocean. The Little Mermaid's gonna have a new verse about her song about a Bentley, you know? How she's like, I got forks and stuff. Now she's like, I got a Porsche too. Seriously, I hope that they're able to reduce like the environmental impacts as much as possible. I know coral reefs are especially sensitive to stuff like this. Extremely, extremely unfortunate that this happened right above sensitive coral reefs. I can just imagine the damage alone that like 4,000 cars falling on a coral reef would do. I'm assuming that alone is insane. If you start talking about everything leaking out of the cars and everything else, you know, batteries down there, battery acid, that's a really, really, really not good situation. I know I'm pointing out the obvious. A massive vessel like the Felicity Ace can hold more than 3 million liters of heavy fuel as well as oil, according to Oceana, and other pollutants in the boat include electrical wires, paint, and plastic. The fire broke out in the ship's cargo hold 6 days after it departed from Emden, Germany for the port of Davisville in Rhode Island. MOL ship management has not said how or why the fire started. Nearby, commercial ships and a helicopter rescued the ship's 22 crew members, and no one was injured during the evacuation. For some reason, I assumed that the ship was still kind of being towed out of the area, but if on top of 4,000 cars being dropped on this reef, the entire tanker goes down as well and leaks all that oil, then my goodness, dude, this is going to be on par with one of those Valdez-level spillages. Probably not the exact same, because that's an oil tanker, quite a lot more oil on board those, but if you consider just the sheer amount of pollutants that might be getting dropped on this reef right now, not too bueno. 2022 is not off to a good start, bro. You throw this in the mix with like what's going on in Ukraine right now, and it's an even bigger crapshoot than 2021 was. This decade is not off to an incredible start, man. The 2020s were supposed to be lit, the roaring 20s. Instead, we're roaring, but it's more of like, what is happening? Please make it stop than it is like, this is sick. Honestly, I hope this is able to be contained and taken care of, you know? I'm not trying to make light of a bad situation. I'm extremely glad that everybody was rescued too, you know? I'm assuming that there's a lot of protocols for what to do if something catches on fire on a cargo vessel. I think that, like, you know, the odds of something bursting into flames when you're carrying a bunch of stuff is probably pretty high. So I'm assuming the crew is, like, very well practiced on what to do in these scenarios just in case of a situation like this, especially if no one was injured in the evacuation and everybody made it off. You know, that's pretty impressive. If you've ever seen a cargo ship, those things are gigantic. The fact that they can evacuate the entire thing while it's on fire with nothing going wrong is impressive. The Portuguese Navy said on Friday that a team of experts had arrived by helicopter the day before, and MOL ship management said that a large salvage tugboat had started towing the Felicity Ace to a safe area of the Azores. The ship, apparently stable, has no fires on the outside or inside, although there is a high temperature in the central area with no smoke in the structure. But Tuesday morning, as the ship was being towed, it lost stability and sank, according to the Portuguese Navy. I guess that might be one very, very slim silver lining of this. Obviously, the best case scenario would have been it never happening, but the fact that they were able to tug it for 2 weeks, you know, out of a super sensitive area to a quote-unquote safe area. Obviously, I'm sure there's not too many places in the ocean you can drop a giant cargo ship in 4,000 cars and not bad things happen, but I'm hoping that at least in the process of 2 weeks having the salvage boat move it, it was able to get out of, like, you know, the immensely, immensely sensitive areas. The one thing that I'm not too sure of, just because I'm not a sailor out here, is how fast can a salvage tugboat tug a cargo ship? You know, I'm not saying that it's impossible. Obviously, they're able to do it, but that seems to me like a little engine that could moment. Just this little thing just pushing this ginormous cargo ship on fire. That would have made a pretty cool personified animated tugboat, okay? Disney, if you're out there and you need the next Pixar Cars spin-off, just call it Boats. A small patch of oily residue was visible and being dispersed by water jets of the tugboats, the Navy said. The area was being monitored by Portuguese and European environmental officials, the Navy said in a statement. Angus Fitton, a spokesman for Porsche Cars North America, expressed relief that the members of the Felicity Ace's crew were safe and well, and the company was supporting our customers best we can. We are already working to replace every single car affected, and the first cars will be built soon. Mr. Fitton did not say when that would be. Alright, I know this scenario I'm about to say is a total first world problem and really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but you know how cars have been delayed immensely? Like, imagine you paid, you know, 130 grand for a Porsche 2 years ago and it still wasn't here. You finally get a notification from the factory it's being shipped, it's on a cargo ship on a way across the ocean. You're like, yes, finally, let's go. I'm gonna, you know, get my Porsche. This is gonna be awesome. Only to find out that between COVID, chip shortages, everything else, it finally gets built, gets on the cargo ship, and then sinks and falls off into the ocean. At that point, that's gotta be the universe's way of basically telling you that you shouldn't get this car and are never getting it, right? Like, I feel like if this many roadblocks get between you and having a specific car, maybe it's for the better. You don't want to be in a situation where you're in a James Dean cursed Porsche, all right? And obviously, you know, if you're dropping 130K on a car, chances are life's been pretty all right. That being said, it would just be like a huge bummer to think that your supercar's on the way, only to find out that it is now at the bottom of the ocean instead. One of the Porsches aboard belonged to Matt Farah, a car enthusiast and the editor of The Smoking Tire. He had been waiting on the car, a 2022 metallic Boxster Spider with a retail price of $123,000 since August. Mr. Farah summarized the loss on his podcast, Car, Boat, Fire, Adrift, that's the entire story. Maritime specialists said that even if the vessel had been saved, the cars aboard would most likely have had to been scrapped. Once it's been on board a ship that's on fire, no one can tell you much about the integrity of the car, said Richard Burke, a professor and chairman of naval architecture and marine engineering at the State University of New York Maritime College. So if you can't do that, why would you agree to warranty a contract on that car? Yeah, so basically the situation, you know, you order it, you hear it's on the way, and it's gone. Obviously, it just sucks that it's a waste either way. Like, even if they would have saved the boat, all these cars would have been wasted regardless. It's just nuts that 4,000 cars worth of material is just wasted. Obviously, nothing you can do about it. I understand. I wouldn't necessarily be stoked about driving a car that had been on a boat that caught fire, caught fire, and they like couldn't guarantee me that everything was gonna work safely, but you know, you can try. I'd be like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. And I can also understand why Porsche isn't willing to put the stamp on the warranty if they can't guarantee its safety either. Regardless, this entire situation just extremely crappy, but you know, I just thought it was nuts that 4,000 cars ended up on the bottom of the ocean. If anyone's got a scuba tank and wants a Porsche, you know where to go if you're in Portugal. But yeah, anyways guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought, and of course subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code Scrubae at the G Fuel checkout to get a discount there. It does really help me out. Beyond that, two more things that I gotta plug really quick. I do put some of my content up on Spotify, so if you want to listen offline or without gameplay, you can do that. That link's going to be in the top of the description. I'd appreciate it. And you can also check out the merch. It's very cool if you ask me. That link's going to be in the description as well, but go get yourself a hoodie if you're an absolute G. And yeah, on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.